Greetings everyone and welcome back to the channel. Huge news for XRP holders. Franklin Templeton files for S1 XRP ETF. I'm gonna break down why this is a massive deal for XRP. Later on, I'm gonna address something extremely important. So rumors are gaining traction that the SEC lawsuit against Ripple could end at any moment. So we're gonna be talking about that as well. Right here we have XRP holding above $2.20. Well, the structure remains bullish for XRP. I'm actually very happy that it was able to maintain the $2 support levels. Someone was lucky to buy below $2, but that was short-lived. By the end of the video, I'm gonna make the worst scenario that I predict XRP could ever drop to if you are seeking for lower entries. Now let's get back to Franklin Templeton. So this is Franklin Templeton, a global investment firm that was founded in New York City in 1947. But this is what you mostly have to pay attention to. Franklin Templeton is one of the largest independent specialized global investment managers with a combined 1.4 trillion in assets under management. The fact that Franklin Templeton is filing for an XRP ETF is the ultimate demonstration that institutional adoption is coming before mass adoption. That's a David Schwartz prediction right there, which turns out to be a prophecy. Well, I created this image a couple of months ago, and it turns out that's playing out in real time. All these funds will soon want your XRP. The BlackRocks, the Grayscales, the Vanguards. Now we can add on top of that list the Franklin Templeton. And I remind you that Franklin Templeton is also tokenizing on Stellar blockchain. So don't ever dare to underestimate XLM's potential. I have been saying this for a while. XLM, in my opinion, is shamefully undervalued. It's one of the most undervalued cryptocurrencies to ever exist. But here's the best part. Franklin Templeton at Consensus 2023, there is a very relevant quote, and that's one of his predictions regarding Bitcoin adoption. So the CEO of Franklin Templeton was interviewed on this event over here, Consensus 2023, and here comes the quote. She believes the future of the industry will be regulated and that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin were a distraction from crypto's real innovation. Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption coming to the financial system, and that's blockchain technology. What are the blockchains that are chosen by financial institutions? Get this, Stellar blockchain and the XRP ledger are the chosen blockchains for financial adoption. That's why Franklin Templeton is tokenizing on Stellar blockchain and right now has just filed for an XRP ETF. Institutional adoption is coming before mass adoption, and that's why I have no intentions to sell my XRP. There's a new financial system that is being built right now. They are giving you the hints. All you have to do is follow the right trails and you will become rich by association. That's my strategy for 2025. I'm just doing the opposite of what the masses are doing and paying attention to the disruptive technologies. Now let's see what's going on with the SEC lawsuit against Ripple. So here's the scoop from Eleanor Terrett. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. On top of that, I have a lot of pain. I have my wisdom teeth, which is hurting me, and I refuse to remove that. So when I embrace the pain, if you notice my voice is a bit different today, well, that's the reason. So the scoop here comes from Eleanor, and she says that according to two sources, the SEC lawsuit versus Ripple could end at any moment. As you can see here, she says that the case is in the process of wrapping up and could be over soon. The center of the discussion here is the 125 million fine that Ripple should pay to the SEC. Well, the main issue here, in my opinion, is not about the $125 million Ripple has to pay to the SEC. I think Ripple can do that very easily if that's the case. However, the real issue arises here. The permanent injunction preventing the company from selling XRP to institutional investors. As we can see, the SEC leadership is wiping out the enforcement slate clean for all previously targeted crypto firms because it believes regulatory clarity will resolve the underlying issue. So why should Ripple still be penalized? Well, I don't really think Ripple should pay $125 million for the SEC, but that's just my personal opinion. I think someone more qualified like Jeremy could really clarify how could the SEC remove this permanent injunction, which prevents Ripple from selling XRP to institutional investors. What really matters is that XRP is not a security now. We have to get rid of this injunction. I truly believe XRP can hit $10 when we have the resolution of the SEC lawsuit. How ironic is that this lawsuit here has been suppressing XRP's price for over 5 years right now. And in my opinion, it shouldn't be Ripple to be paying the 125 millions to the SEC. That should be the other way around. That should be the SEC paying billions in damage for XRP holders. I mean, some of you were lucky because the suppression allowed you to accumulate XRP at 50 cents, and perhaps you should send a message to Gary Gensler and say thank you. But in the other hand, think about all the XRP holders who bought XRP back in 2018, 2017, and they had XRP basically skipping the previous bull run because the SEC was coming out and saying XRP is a security. That has caused a massive suppression on XRP's chart, number one. That has caused retail investors to sell in losses. And that's why, in my personal understanding, this fine should be completely removed. The SEC should be dissolved. I don't really think that administration has any credibility. Honestly, it should be the SEC to pay Ripple and especially XRP holders. And well, I have many questions on people asking me if I think XRP is going to drop lower. So let me get this straight. I think we should be watching to the S&P 500 as the stock market's not looking great. We have to watch if we're going to have a reverse for the stock markets. I do think a meltdown is approaching for the stock market, which is going to affect crypto as well. However, I really don't have the answer for when that's going to play out. Well, let's have a look at what I think is the worst case scenario for XRP, and that's going to help you with buying orders. If you take the right actions, I think that's going to enable you to buy XRP for the lowest possible prices. So let's have a look. So this is the $1.20 level when Donald Trump got elected. And here we can see there is a strong support level for XRP. Now, what I expect in case there is a retracement for BTC. Well, the same plays out for BTC at 72K. So we got to see these levels here. So let's put a scenario where there's a meltdown in the stock market or something goes south for Bitcoin and it loses the 72,000 support levels. I think XRP could have a flash crash to this area here. I think that would be short-lived, perhaps a couple of seconds, a flash crash. I think the lowest XRP can ever go once again would be to 90 cents. It's on you. This is not a financial advice to leave some buy orders in case you want the last opportunity to buy XRP below $1. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I give this a 20% chance. Just like a few days ago, I told you to buy XRP to leave some buy orders at 190. Now, I'm telling you, 90 cents, in my opinion, is going to be the lowest XRP is going to ever go. And I think shortly after, we're going to have a bounce back all the way to perhaps $1.80. And from there, I think we go back to $2 in a couple of days. I don't see XRP ever losing the $1.20 support. I don't really think we're going to be at 50 cents ever again. So in case you really want to try, I don't really see a reason why you shouldn't put buy orders at, for example, 95 cents, 92 cents. I think these are interesting levels. But again, we have to watch the S&P, and perhaps in case the SEC lawsuit drops against Ripple, why not? We could see $10 and we could be parting in Mykonos and this correction could never happen. So I'm just giving you the two scenarios here. And just a reminder, when XRP hits $10, I'm going to be throwing a huge yachting party at Mykonos. Make sure to drop your name on the comments. So I'm going to add you to the guest list. I have been constantly updating the guest list because it's thousands of people. And honestly, I need to know who is really coming. That's why I constantly ask for the names. Well, from today, that's all. That was my quick update about the markets, about what's happening with Ripple, XRP, the lawsuit. There's so much going on. Anyways, I want to send a special thanks to everyone. Perhaps it's not the easiest day to understand me. I know I am not a native English speaker. I am working out on my communication skills. I really hope that in the future I can improve every day and getting better on that. But today especially, I have this wisdom teeth that is really hurting me. So it was lots of effort to get this video out for you. Anyways, thank you everyone. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Done.